Hi guys, it's my first hand cam video and I'm reading a book called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Big Shot. Okay? Anyways, let's get started quick. Well, that changed everything. It meant we were actually stuck in this place until we got a victory. And now it made sense why they decided to hold this tournament in a prison. Because it was literally a prison. For kids. Mom checked the results for the first round games to see who we were facing next. Sorry. The name of the team was the Brawlers, which sounded a little more intimidating than the Mathletes. But then Mom got the scoop. The Brawlers was a team made out of all the kids in the state who got thrown out of games for fighting. So I guess the second chance thing wasn't just about wins. When we got our first look at these guys, we knew we were in trouble. We knew we were in trouble. Pop! I was glad Mom didn't put me in the starting lineup, because the game was a fight from start to finish. Right after the tip-off, one of the Brawlers clotheslines, Kevin. So Ruby Bird jumped on that kid's back, and then everyone joined in. Ah! Blink, blink, pow! Ugh! I don't think the refs wanted to get in the middle of a fight, so they just let it go. And I'm pretty sure they didn't blow their whistles once. Kapow! Since there wasn't a lot of actual basketball being played, it was a low-scoring contest. But the Brawlers edged us out in the end, and the final score was 6-5. Our team was pretty gassed from playing 2 games in a row. But we weren't done yet. We had to face a team called the Stage Whisperers in the 3rd round, and they looked tired too. You'll see why they're the Stage Whisperers in the next page. I couldn't figure out what the deal was with these guys until we started playing. They must have been a part of the theater group at their school, because they were all great actors. Every time one of our players would get anywhere near one of those guys, they'd flap and act like they were injured. And even though we never touched them, we picked up 15 personal fouls in the first quarter. Oof! Ugh! Faint. The team scored almost all their points from the free throw line, and we ended up losing that one 33-17. And we had to play another game after that. And if we had to play another game after that, I don't think we could have actually done it. Luckily, the next round wasn't until the morning, so we went to a hotel a few miles away. Well, I was looking forward to get a good night's sleep, but I guess Mom didn't think we'd still be playing this late in the tournament, so she hadn't booked our rooms ahead of time. And by then, there were only 2 left in the hotel. So Mom booked one room for her and Ruby, and the one for the rest of us. But I don't think what it was like to share a room with Ruby, but I can't tell you, it sure wasn't fun sharing a room with the guys on my team. Boot. From the way my teammates were acting, I doubt any of those guys have ever been in a hotel room before. And I actually thought about calling the security on them a bunch of times. But I didn't, and that was a big mistake. Because one of them started an ice cube fight and hit a sprinkler in the ceiling. It turns out when the sprinklers go off, it triggers the fire alarm. So we spent the next 2 hours outside the freezing cold along with everyone else who was staying at the hotel, while the fire department reset their alarms. Chatter, chatter. In the morning, Mom was pretty annoyed with us, but she seemed focused on the day ahead. During breakfast, Mom said we were heading into the final four, and that we all needed to play as a team to pull out a win today. Then she told everyone about how it felt to lose her very last game, and she sometimes wondered she could have done anything different to change the outcome. Mom said she didn't want us to have any regrets, so we needed to leave us everything on the floor today. It was a good speech and all, but the difference between Mom's team and our team was that her team was trying to prove they were the best, and we were just trying not to be the worst. So the truth is, we didn't need the extra motivation. Yesterday morning, when we showed up at the tournament, nobody knew who we were. But after setting off the alarm last night, everyone did. The fire alarm last night, everyone did. And the team we played in the next round was out for revenge. They were the only girl team in the whole tournament, and I guess they didn't appreciate their sleep being interrupted. So when we faced off against the Banshees, they were ready to play. Tip. In the third quarter, Mom had to take Ruby out of the game to give her a rest, but I really wish she hadn't put me to take her place, because that was like throwing raw meat to a bunch of wolves. Shriek! Shriek! Ah! I don't remember what the final score was. All I know is that we lost and they got to home. The Banshees. Rome State Pen. I have no idea how the Banshees lasted so long in the tournament without a win, because those girls were tough. But when I saw the two teams who were still fighting for the chance to go home, I could see why those guys were still here. The two teams left were the original Huskies and the Funky Dunkers, and they both looked equally terrible to me. So it was anyone's game to lose. But the Funky Dunkers only have 5 players with no subs. So even though they put up a good fight, they ran out of gas at the end. And that meant they had to face us in the finals. I should have figured out this a lot sooner, but everyone in this tournament couldn't go home a winner. And whoever lost the last game would know for sure they were the worst team in the state. So we all wanted to win the last game, but nobody wanted it more than Mom. And before we started, she went over the game plan and made some last-minute changes to the lineup. By that point, almost everyone had left the building, and the place was practically empty. But then 2 people walked in through the doors. Court 1. Clomp. Preet was wearing some sort of boot, so I guess that meant he didn't need crutches anymore. Mom asked Mr. Paddle what they were doing here, and he said they heard we were playing today, so they came to support us. But Mom said we didn't need cheerleaders, we needed players. Then she asked Preet if he'd be willing to play in his boot, and I guess Preet must have missed competing because he said yes. Luckily, Mom had a spare jersey in the bag, and she gave it to Preet to suit up. Then she put him in the starting lineup and told us she was making one more change to the playbook. Mom threw out all the players and replaced them with just one, which was called Get the Ball to Preet. And everyone was happy because we finally had a play we could understand. The ref blew the whistle and start the game, and we won the opening tip-off. Yusuf passed the ball to Preet, who was better on one leg than the rest of us too. Toss. The only problem was that he couldn't run, and every time he scored, the Funky Duckers got an easy basket on the other end of the floor. Just before halftime, something really awful happened. A bunch of kids on the other team were trying to stop Preet from shooting, and he stepped on their point guard's foot with his boot. Crunch. The kid had to be helped off the floor by his coach and another player. And you all clap, because for some reason that's what you're supposed to do in that situation. Clap, 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 clap. But now the Funky Dunkers were down to 4 players. The head ref said that since the Funky Dunkers didn't have a full team, they were going to have to forfeit. And I think their coach was totally fine with that. But Mom wasn't. She said if we were gonna win, she wanted us to do it fair and square. So she said she'd send one of our players to the other team so he could finish the game. I guess the other coach figured he had nothing to lose, so he agreed. Then he said he'd take Preet. But the head ref said Mom should be the one to decide which players to send the other team. And after thinking it over a minute, he picked me. She picked me. To be honest, I was kind of shocked because I never expected to get traded by my own mother. But as I walked toward my other team's bench, she whispered something in my ear. "You're my secret weapon." And I was totally confused. I wanted our team to win this game just as much as Mom did. But I didn't think she wanted me to cheat. But I was willing to do whatever it took though, including putting on someone else's uniform. When the second half started, I got on the floor and acted like I was trying my hardest. But I guess my new teammates didn't trust me anyway, because they wouldn't pass the ball to me. After a few minutes, I just stood in the corner to stay out of everyone's way. And that was actually a great spot to watch the game, which was starting to get really good. Every time Preet would hit some crazy shot, somebody on the Funky Dunkers would score at the other end. And it went back and forth like that for the whole second half. So And I was so caught up watching the game, I forgot I was actually in it. So I missed a three-pointer and then the ball bounced off the rim. I was shocked when it came to me. Clang. I didn't know if I should pass or dribble or what. But I couldn't really do anything anyway because all of a sudden my former teammates were all over me. The clock was ticking down, the Savunky Dunkers were behind too, and I looked over at the bench to see what Mom wanted me to do. But she didn't exactly look like she was rooting for me. That's when I realized why Mom sent me to the other side of in the first place. It wasn't because I was some sort of secret weapon. It was because I stunk, and she knew I'd blow it for the other team. But by then I honestly didn't care. I just wanted to get rid of the balls to give myself a little space. So I chucked it with all my might. Heave. When I launched it, everybody just froze, and it felt like time stood still. And all anybody could do was watch as the ball flew through the air. And when the ball went through the net and the other side of the court, you could hear a pin drop. Swish. My shot was good for 3 points, which put the Funky Dunkers ahead by 1. And when the final buzzer went off, my new teammate Swarnby. I finally got to see how it felt like to be the hero for once. And for the first time, I could see why everybody's always making a big deal about sports. In fact, I was thinking that this would make a good movie. So I started working on getting signatures for my new teammates. I gotta say, Mom was right about sports bringing people together. After the game, me and the guys went out for ice cream, and we were having so much fun that we decided to have seconds. We were even talking about getting a team together and doing this all over again next year. And even though that could be fun, I think sometimes you should quit while you're ahead. Okay, that is the end of Diary of Wimpy Kid Big Shot. It was a perfect finale by doing a hand cam video in this really long book. It was hard for reading the entire book, but anyways, it was fun. And this is my third take to reading the final thing because I uploaded the first, but the quality was too low, so I deleted it and started again. Anyways, bye guys, have a great day. Oh, and thank you for 10 subscribers.